Welcome back to Dmac Mad Gaming. I'm your host Dmac, and here we believe gaming is a lifestyle, not a hobby. Welcome back, guys. And today I want to talk about why is backwards compatibility so important to Sony now. Now, Sony has always said that they don't really care about backwards compatibility. It's something that they're not really looking forward to in the future. It's not something that they're going to put resources into. They said that several times with the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, but then they turned around and did some things to allow PlayStation 1 and 2 games to be on a PlayStation 4. So Sony has always been back and forth for backwards compatibility, but recent talks about the new PlayStation 5 and how it's going to have backwards compatibility for PlayStation 4 games, and a lot of speculation been going in the game community that's probably going to be able to play PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games. I have did a video on this previously before, but I don't think PlayStation 3 games will be on the PlayStation 5 because of the architecture of the PlayStation 3, that it's kind of hard for them to kind of put that type of architecture in the current console they have, like PlayStation 4 or the next gen console, PlayStation 5, to even play PlayStation 3 games. Now, they could create an emulator to play, but I don't know if Sony's going to put enough resources into that to even make that a possibility. That's why they did a lot of remastering. And the big question that I wanted to answer in this video is, why is backwards compatibility so important to Sony now? Because of the PlayStation 5 coming out. Why is this something that they're really looking forward to developing and working on for the next gen console? And we have to go back to how important is backward compatibility to the gaming community and to these companies like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. Is it something that they are being more interested in, being more proactive on because it's relevant now and it's making a lot more money? Is it creating more fans and giving them a lot of customer base? Is this something happening in the gaming industry where backwards compatibility is becoming relevant now in 2019? And I have to say, I don't think it hasn't changed since back in the day. I mean, a lot of gaming community like accessibility. I like being able to play all their content on one device. This is something that gamers have been preaching about since gaming first started being big. I mean, a lot of people don't like keeping old hardware around or keeping a bunch of games that they can't play on the current system because they don't have any room. On top of that, some people just don't want to have that clutter. And it's been a lot of mixed feelings in the gaming community, in the game industry, about this debate. Some people feel like if you want to play your old games, keep your old hardware. And some people feel like, no, we should be able to have it all on one device. And there's a lot of big debate going on, a lot of ideas on what should be important when it comes to hardware and what kind of games come on this new hardware. A lot of people want new experience. They want new AAA experience, new IPs. So a lot of people want that. The gaming community can agree, come to a consensus that we want new, expensive, amazing new IPs to play on the next gen consoles. That's a must. But there's some game communities that will love to play some of their previous favorite games from the previous systems on one device. While others feel like that's a waste of time and effort and money for some of these companies to do. Microsoft kind of changed a lot of people's mind over the last couple of years with backwards compatibility with the 360 onto the Xbox One. Now you don't only can play your 360 games, you can play your Xbox One games all on the Xbox One. You can play all the previous systems games on one device, their current device. And that's been huge for Microsoft right now because Microsoft don't have a lot of new IPs, have not been creating new experiences, and a lot of gamers that have Xbox system kind of go back to playing the games that they loved in the past. And this has been creating a surge in the gaming community, in my opinion, that's making a lot of other companies like Microsoft and Nintendo take note. We all know in the coming future it's going to be more of a service-based type of game industry where you don't buy hardware, you just pay a service and you get a surplus of games to play. That's the business model that Microsoft is going for, and I'm pretty sure these other companies like Nintendo and Microsoft are going to go that way as well. But is backwards compatibility important to everyone in the gaming industry? Is it something that gamers in the community want? And why is this the reason why it's making somebody rethink the idea about backwards compatibility? Now, a lot of people have put a lot of time and money into the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro. They got a nice collection of games. So I guess Sony's looking at it like, well, we got to at least allow it be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4 games. But a lot of theories are going out there, a lot of speculations going out there that it's going to be just more than PlayStation 4 games. It may be PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, and some people even threw out there, crazy as it sounds, it's going to be PlayStation 2 games, 3 games that you can play on your PlayStation 5, which I highly doubt that from the architecture that the PlayStation 3 has and how they couldn't emulate that with the PlayStation 4. I highly think the PlayStation 5 is going to be to emulate PlayStation 3 games. But who knows? I'm not big on tech. I don't know about hardware when it comes to develop from the developer standpoint. So I don't know. Maybe they will put in some extra parts to allow you to either emulate or be able to play the PlayStation 3 games on the PlayStation 5. But if they did that, it would probably, I mean, because PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games got similar architectures, is the reason why you can play them with each other. PlayStation 3 was a whole different type of architecture. And when the first PlayStation 4 came out, it had a different architecture. So I don't know if they'll be able to tweak that for the PlayStation 5 or not. But I know one thing. I know that Sony is really interested in backwards compatibility right now, where they've been throwing out little hints and things about, yes, the PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible. Feeding the game community, giving us excitement, making us wonder, what kind of compatibility is the PlayStation 5 going to have? We already know from Sony's announcements that you will be able to play your PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation 5. And that may just be enough for some people in the game community. That may be enough for some customers out there. Well, if I could just play my PlayStation 4 games, I'm good. So I can trade in my PlayStation 4 and get a PlayStation 5. But I think backwards compatibility is more important to those in the game community that can't afford to keep their old hardware and get the new hardware. You know, people have bills, mortgages, car notes, things like that. And backwards compatibility is important for these consumers and for those who are not actively true gamers in a sense where they take all their extra money and put it towards that hobby, that thing they love, gaming. Some people have a lot of responsibilities. They don't have money when these consoles come out. And if they know that they can trade in their old systems to get this newer system and still be able to play their games from their older system on this newer device, it makes it look more appealing. It makes it look more appealing to the customer base where if I can play these types of games on this new hardware, it's a good deal. I could trade in my old one, get a discount on it, and be able to get the new hardware and experience the new AAA experiences that's coming out for the PlayStation 5. And I think that's why Microsoft, especially Phil Spencer, decided to bring backwards compatibility to the Xbox One. Because he knew that doing that would be able to open up a whole new type of fan base, give people a reason to trade in their old systems for newer hardware. I mean, it allows people that have low income to be able to play some of these AAA experiences by trading in their old systems. Or for those who just like playing some of their old favorite games and don't want to give them up, they can play it on their new hardware. And I think that's the whole idea and excitement about backwards compatibility, in my opinion. I am a big fan of backwards compatibility. I love being able to play all my games on one device. I mean, PC gamers have been doing it for years with a lot of their games. But PC's becoming very, very saturated right now with all of these launchers out there where you have to have certain launchers to play certain games. And it's making the PC gaming community really frustrated about all of this. So console gaming is looking really interesting to a lot of them PC elitists out there. So if the game industry can get their consensus together on being able to create hardware that is backwards compatible with the next gen consoles, they'd be on the right path. But then you have to look at it from their perspective. It's going to be more expensive to and take more time and development to create hardware that will allow you to play your previous games from your previous system on the next gen consoles. It does takes a lot of time and money and resources. But like Microsoft and a lot of these other companies like Sony and Microsoft, they take the hit for the console right out the gate when they release it. So, and they've been doing that just because they want to get these consoles out there for a decent price for people to buy. So why not take the hit for the backwards compatibility as well? And a lot of people in the gaming community have the same debate going on. And I'd like to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below about how this is just a waste of time. I don't care about the old generation of games. I want some new games, yes. But it'll allow developers time to create new experiences, create new IPs. It'll give you a large library of games to play right now when this console don't have that many games. Trust me, when the PlayStation 5 come out, it's going to have a limited of games that you can play on it. But to be able to play your PlayStation 4 games on it alone as well will give developers time to work on new IPs, bigger, expensive open worlds, things like this. There are a lot of benefits to having backwards compatibility than the drawbacks. The only drawbacks that these companies have to face is that they have to bites down on some of the money that they're losing out on the expenses of creating backwards compatibility. But in the long run, it works out better, in my opinion. Now, like I say, I'm not a professional developer. I don't know how much time and effort and money and resources go into developing hardware that can be backwards compatible with your previous system. But I think that the future outlook of it is better than not having it at all. Because there's a lot of people do not want to have multiple devices to play some of their favorite games. They want one device to be able to play all the games. And it's also good for those who have limited resources. They allow them to be able to take their old systems and sell them and trade them off to get money to lower the price of the newer systems. So not only will you be able to give customers other options to get the resources they need to buy your new hardware, or along with buying your new hardware, they have a library of games to play on your new hardware while you create new IPs. And on top of that, the digital sales on some of the DLC that they missed out on because they couldn't afford to get it and things like that. I mean, I think that it's a better deal for consumers and is more consumer friendly when these companies decide to make their hardware back compatible with their previous consoles. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a business venture that Microsoft saw and ran with it, and it has a lot of success. And I think that Sony is seeing how it's a very necessary thing to have for your consoles now, to be able to play your previous games. I mean, I feel like some people will be just fine with playing their PlayStation 4 games. Me, myself, I'll be fine just playing my PlayStation 4 games or my PlayStation 5. I mean, I don't have to have PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 games. I have PlayStation Now for that. But just to be able to play the games that I have now on my new console makes the console more appealing. Makes it a better, allows you to rationalize buying this new hardware than it would without that capability, without that feature. But I like to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like backwards compatibility is something that's important? Do you feel like Sony knows that it's important now and that's why they're doing it? Do you feel like my reasons for why Sony's so interested in backwards compatibility is on point or not? I'd love to know all your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for staying to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Been showing me a lot of support. I really appreciate it. The Mad Gaming appreciate it as well. Make sure you share, hit that like, and if you haven't hit that smash button and became a Mad Gaming yet, what are you waiting for? We got a lot of cool content coming out. We're working on. We're just getting things together, and soon we'll be rolling out more videos every week. And I think you guys are gonna love it. So make sure you hit that smash button before you turn off this video. And as always, stay safe and keep gaming. I'm out. I'll talk to you later.